Good day YouTube, my name is Dan and welcome to another episode of Cryptolite. Today, we will be talking about Quantstamp, the best smart contract auditing protocol in the world. This is a coin with great potential for growth. To learn more, keep watching. What is Quantstamp? Quantstamp is the protocol for securing smart contracts. In other words, it's an auditing company that other blockchain projects can hire to test their smart contracts. Why is this function needed? A blockchain network itself is secure, meaning it cannot be hacked. But smart contracts that run the network are man-made and are not secure, meaning smart contracts can be hacked or manipulated. The most famous example of this was the DAO incident in June 2016, where a hacker stole 55 million Ethereum, which today is worth over 2.5 billion, by hacking not the Ethereum network, but a smart contract. This incident was so big that it eventually caused a fork between Ethereum and Ethereum Classic as we know today. Another example was the Parity wallet being hacked in July 2017, which resulted in users losing millions of dollars. So errors like this really corrode confidence in blockchain projects because of the high security risk. And furthermore, ICOs these days are increasingly being recognized as high-risk investments, and no one wants to be the project that is known for having lost hundreds of millions of dollars. Quantstamp protocol solves this problem by creating a scalable and cost-effective system to audit smart contracts. The way Quantstamp works is as follows. The developers first writes a smart contract that is submitted to be checked by Quantstamp. The verified contract can be uploaded to the blockchain safely, but will also generate a report which can be either private and encrypted or made public for others to see. The advantage of making a report public is so that potential investors can see that the company's smart contracts have been audited and be more confident about the company. In today's climate, where there is an increasing caution about upcoming ICOs, this could potentially become a standard step in ICO evaluation. The technology for the audits is found in the validator node. This is essentially a heavily modified Ethereum node that's equipped with formal auditing techniques. The process is run by people who are called contributors, who are basically the miners of the project. Once the smart contract has been checked and verified by the contributor, an escrow payment or bounty will be released to the contributor, rewarding them for their work. The reward is paid by the original developer of the smart contract, who puts the deposit at the point of submission, and this is paid in quantum tokens. The whole process is trustless, which basically means it's always up to Quantstamp to check the end product and prevent manipulation of results. To de-incentivize bad actors, Quantstamp makes it expensive for them to play punk by collecting a stake token as collateral before the audit. So if there's any attempt to forge an audit, their deposits are slashed. This also prevents an attack on the network on a large scale. Now you might wonder as well, what if the contributor found a bug but chose not to report it? Can they then use it to exploit the client later on? The answer is no, because the Quantstamp software itself will double check, and if it finds a bug that the contributor failed to report, Quantstamp will claim the bounty instead and fix the bug, and the bad actor contributor gains nothing. So the entire bounty system is set up to encourage good behavior. The entire system is also scalable, so the bounty payment system is designed to be upgradable to be fully automated, and so is the actual validation protocol. Quantstamp are working towards a 100% automated protocol that is called the Security Audit Engine. This is a simple diagram representing what it does. Basically, it puts the smart contract through several checks before automatically producing a report and uploading it to the blockchain. Currently, Quantstamp is only checking Ethereum smart contracts, and that is because Ethereum as a platform holds almost half of the blockchain projects in the world. However, as a utility, Quantstamp is designed to be a platform agnostic, meaning it should be able to apply to other platforms, in example Neo or Cardano in the future. Besides checking projects, Quantstamp can also check wallets, exchanges, anything that uses smart contracts. Another interesting aspect of the project is called Proof of Care. Community members can sign up to Proof of Care, which entitles them to airdrops for new tokens that Quantstamp audits. Now this sounds awesome because everyone loves free crypto, but the catch is you have to prove that you care for Quantstamp to participate. Here are some factors that will influence your caring score. Number 1, connect with the community by helping them with recruitment, either helping with the Reddit or participating in the Telegram or making YouTube videos or setting up physical communities and local meetups. Number 2, you can provide the Quantstamp team with advice, improving their white paper, website design, translating the copy, etc. Third, you can do work for the team by being a Telegram admin, local language admin, GitHub code contributors, or translator. Number 4, your existing history of support with the Quantstamp project. And number 5, the super secret events for those who have proven they are the very best. Your overall proof of caring score will be based on the equation active project contribution plus your community involvement plus your wallet tracking algorithm plus the history of support. So it sounds like a lot of effort. Quantstamp did give an example of a high-scoring proof of care member who did the following. He helped to clarify questions regarding the Quantstamp project and encouraged people to join the official news sources. He participated in active discussions on the Quantstamp technical Telegram channel. He entirely overhauled the Quantstamp Reddit design with 2 other community members, including the Reddit app interface for Quantstamp. He created a Reddit sidebar as well as the welcome messages, rules, and FAQ for Quantstamp Reddit users. He is the current moderator of the Quantstamp Reddit. He submitted a nice video of the CEO and the CEO's friends shouting, "I love Quantstamp" in enthusiasm for the Quantstamp fan film. He constructed an FAQ for the Ink protocol airdrop on Reddit. He gave an answer on Reddit regarding a question on how Quantstamp's audit is different from Zeppelin's audit, and he shared a post on his personal views on Quantstamp. So whoever this guy was, it is very, very impressive what he did, but it made me lose all hope of ever getting a high score. As I like to say, most of us want to be investors but not participants. I don't like the idea of having to put all my time and money into one project to get airdrops, especially when my piece of the pie is likely going to be very small compared to contributors such as above. But if you feel you're up for it, go for it, because they do give free airdrops. This is the Quantstamp team, and I'll say right off the bat that it's a big and impressive team. Let me run through some of their resumes. Their CEO is Richard Ma, who is a former software engineer at Tower Research. Their other co-founder and CTO is Stephen Stewart, who is a former software engineer at Many Trees Inc. and also a computer system analyst at the Department of National Defense Canada and software developer at Magnetic Forensics. Their VP of engineering is Evan Henshaw-Plath, who was the lead engineer at Odeo, the company that made Twitter. He also led engineering teams at Palm, Yahoo, and Digital Garage. Casper Beck is another team member who is an expert at software modeling and verification, who was previously employed at MathWorks, Oprah, and Samsung. They have a blockchain department labs in Canada. I'm not really sure why this is under a different heading from the actual team. I tried looking it up, but I couldn't find an answer. Anyway, the team members here include Vaji Monthagami, who is an expert in software verification, security infrastructure, and scalable systems, and previously worked for Amazon. Another team member of theirs is Priv Shiv, who was, before working at Quantstamp, he was a senior software engineer at Barclays and also a software engineer at Samsung Mobile. Are you impressed already? Well, hold on to your seats because it gets even better. Their advisors include Evan Cheng, who is the director of engineering at Facebook, previously at Apple. He's the winner of the ACM Software System Award for designing and implementing the LLVM. And we've seen this name before. He's someone who is very involved in more than one blockchain project. Another advisor of theirs is Chris Miles, famous guy in blockchain circles. He's the former CFO of 10x, previously worked at Goldman Sachs, and is also the CEO of Iconic Partners. And their supporters include people like Combinator, Blockfolio, Coin, so prominent companies in the blockchain arena. We also noticed Request Network, who was their first client to be reviewed. So it's nice to know that their clients can have such good opinions of them that they become their supporters after working with them. So all in all, this is a very, very impressive team. You can certainly understand why this project was one of the favorite ICOs in the last quarter of 2017. This is their roadmap. It's a very busy roadmap that has something on every month, and it finishes in October this year, but that means that their mainnet is released before that in August of this year. Coming up in April is the deployment of their test network, and May will be the first hackathon, which is somewhat a popular thing in the tech world these days. A hackathon is an event where a lot of tech-savvy guys gather to brainstorm towards creating more useful softwares. So we may see some new developments after this event. Now, if you go back to their website, you will see that these guys are already at work, and this quarter they have reviewed 353 smart contracts. So unlike some projects that can't do anything until they launch the mainnet, in this case, the roadmap of this team, the testnet, the mainnet launch, is just to help them to scale an already existing working product. Another additional update that's not on their roadmap is about marketing. Now, I love marketing because there is no use having a great product if no one knows about it. So 3 days ago, they released or tweeted that they are going to start marketing now. Now, I'm really interested to see what this is like because up to now, with the proof of cash shilling as well as appearing to Facebook and Coinbase last year, there's already been quite a bit of marketing, I thought. So I'll be very keen to see what they mean by start marketing and what will they do next. Now, just to mention at this point as well, later today, they will actually be having an AMA on Reddit and YouTube. So it's likely that more news and updates might come out from the AMA. I did consider releasing this review tomorrow so I could incorporate the AMA content into this video, but unfortunately, I won't have time this weekend to get to it. So please do check the AMA content out yourself tomorrow if you're interested in this project. So far, Quantstamp is looking great. Now, do I have any concerns about the project as a potential investors? I don't know if it would be considered concern, but I certainly do have some questions that I couldn't find answers to on their website, particularly around the token mechanics, because the website and the white paper don't actually address token mechanics. Now, the first is, we know that the more a currency is used, the more the currency price goes up. Currently, bounties are a significant portion of token transaction and token use, but when Quantstamp becomes fully automated, sometime this year is expected, there won't be any more bounties as everything will be done automated. So we lose a major source of token use. Will that decrease the overall token value? I don't know, and it wasn't addressed anywhere, but I assume that the team would have thought about this and taken some steps to counter the decreased use of tokens. The second question I have is about the cost of an audit. Now, I could not find the details in their white paper about how much an audit costs. One part of their website actually says pay 25 QSP to get an audit. That's like $3. So that's too little. I'm obviously missing something here. On their Reddit, many people are saying that it costs 200,000 tokens. And this information is taken from their request page where you submit your information, where it says you must hold a minimum of 200,000 Quantstamp tokens to request an audit. Now, it doesn't say that it costs 200,000 tokens. It says you need a minimum of 200,000 Quantstamp tokens to request an audit. A Reddit moderator wrote that the 200,000 tokens are what you have as a deposit, but it's not the actual cost of the audit. Okay, so firstly, you got to understand that the bounty is what you pay the contributors who do the work of the auditing, and that's separate from what you pay Quantstamp as a service. So now we're talking about what you pay Quantstamp as a service, and apparently the 200,000 tokens that you hold is simply like a deposit that you put there, but what you actually pay them is not the tokens, but about 20,000 fiat, so 20,000 USD. But the moderator did add that he wasn't entirely sure about the amount either, but it does matter a lot whether the payment is in fiat or tokens, because especially if we're going to lose the bounty use of the tokens, then the only other avenue on the entire platform where you would use the tokens would be paying for the audit fee to the company. If the company only accepts fiat payments, this means that the company will grow and the company owners will become rich, but even though its service is used, the token value stagnates and dies because for a token price to rise, the token must be used. Also, yesterday, there was a confusing article from TechCrunch that posted this. This article said that it will cost 500,000 per audit. So that's very, very different from the information we've otherwise gotten. So at this point, I don't know what the cost of their audit is. In fact, after reading a lot on all their various social medias, I'm not actually convinced that any of their community members know for sure, or even the moderators. According to the article which was released yesterday, they have 50 customers waiting for an audit. So depending on which price you go by, that's either only $1 million or a potential $25 million in token transaction. Their current market cap is 81 million. So 25 million is about 1/3 of the market cap, which is huge. So depending on what the token price is, depending on how much it costs to do an audit, it will really affect the token price. So as an investor, that is important information for me. Another issue that I wasn't clear about was about the issue of coin burn. Their white paper mentions that there will be a coin burn after every transaction, after every payment for the audit, but it wasn't clear how much or how far the coin burn would go. A lot of their community posts seem to have this impression that half of the paid tokens get burnt. So if the audit costs 200,000 Quantstamp tokens, then 100,000 will be burnt every single time. A Reddit moderator corrected by saying that it wasn't an actual burn, but because of SEC compliance, the tokens are not burned, which will make them an investment token, but rather kept in reserve, which will make them a utility token. If that's the case, what are the reserve tokens used for? And in this case, they may actually be a coin burn because of the mathematics. So far, they've completed 353 audits, and if every audit burnt 100,000 tokens, that's a total of 35 million tokens burnt. Now, they started the project with a total supply of 1 billion tokens, but on CoinMarketCap now, there's only 976 million. So that means 34 million tokens have been gone, so most likely burn out. So that kind of fits the calculations. And if they really burn or remove coins from the market, that is actually massive, because over time we're going to see a huge inflation in the token price. But the other question is there a limit? Because most other projects with such token mechanics like burning a coin over transactions are very, very clear on their website about the limit of the burn each year and the overall limit for the whole project. So for example, they will put a limit of 100 million tokens being burnt per year down to a minimum of 100 million tokens. Once they hit 100 million tokens, there will be no more coin burn because they have to stop at some point. But there is no information on Quantstamp's website or white paper about this very, very important aspect of the project. So, maybe Quantstamp needs to be a little more transparent about the token mechanics. So one last thing about the tokens before I move on. The total supply is 974 million tokens, but the active current supply or circulating supply is 617 million tokens. Now, if they really charge 200,000 tokens for the 353 audits that they have done, that's over $70 million. So that's more than 10% of their current circulating supply. Surely that would have done something for the token price in the last quarter, but yet we don't see that reflected in the price, which makes us even more confused. So whether that was masked by a very bad market conditions, we don't really know. Another consideration I have is that currently there are just over 2,000 blockchain projects, of which Ethereum network or Ethereum platform hosts about 800 to 900 of those projects. Now, Quantstamp has already audited 353 projects, and it only audits on Ethereum network. So we assume that these are all Ethereum projects. Now, if we assume that 50 of these were ICOs, there's still about 300 ERC20 audits, meaning about 1/3 of the platform in a quarter. So if they continue at this rate, even if they audited every Ethereum project, they would run out of business by the end of this year, which means that they need new projects. Because their earning mechanisms with these audits is a once-off payment for each blockchain project. Blockchain projects will not keep coming back every few months. They just want a one-time audit, and the audit costs them a lot of money. So basically, Quantstamp needs to branch out to other platforms by the end of this year, hopefully by the launch of their mainnet. One last consideration for me before we move to some good news is that Ethereum uses a rather difficult programming language called Solidity. It's not very common to non-blockchain programmers, so the projects are more likely to need help. But with the newer platforms, they use more user-friendly programming languages like JavaScript and C++. So developers there may be more confident, and there may be less errors, and they may not feel the need to pay for such an expensive audit. Okay. But that being said, the above consideration is really a medium to long term, looking at next year and beyond. As far as the short-term price predictions goes for this year, I do believe that there is an available market that will have high demand for the services of Quantstamp. And there is one last piece of good news to emphasize this. So about 3 weeks ago, there was an article that was released that read, researchers find 34,200 vulnerable Ethereum smart contracts. So the article actually highlights the need for services to audit smart contracts, especially on Ethereum. This article actually doesn't point towards Quantstamp but points towards Main, which is a new protocol that detects faulty smart contracts in bulk. So they actually scanned the entire Ethereum network and found this many faulty smart contracts. But at this point, the good news is that Main doesn't actually fix the smart contracts, it just detects the smart contracts. So this is great because who then will help to fix those 34,200 faulty smart contracts? Only one person, Quantstamp. So these are some of the considerations and unanswered questions that I have about the project, the good and the bad, and mostly revolving around the token mechanics. And it may sound like I'm very critical of this project, but actually I really like this project. I just want to be careful about every aspect of the project before jumping in, especially the token mechanics, because a project can be the best project in the world, but if the token price isn't going to rise because of bad token mechanics, then there is simply no point for me to jump in as an investor. Okay, finally, let's end with the price prediction. I can't give a number prediction because I don't actually know how the token mechanics go, but I can certainly share my thoughts in terms of where I think the price would go in general. Now, at the moment, the token price is sitting at 13 cents, and their all-time high was sitting at 79 cents, so just under 80 cents. Their trade volume, if you notice, is actually very, very small. It's only 5 million. This is very small in terms of crypto world. Furthermore, if you look at the exchanges they are on, which is UOB, Binance, KuCoin, etc., you will notice something very unusual, which is that the bulk of their trade volume is actually on UOB, which is much smaller than Binance or KuCoin. So what this means is that they have fallen off the radar. So on bigger exchanges like Binance, even on KuCoin, people have basically forgotten about Quantstamp, and they're really noticed only on the smaller exchanges like UOB. But this is great from an investment point of view, because if you look at what we can expect from here on, testnet in April, hackathon in May, marketing starting now, over 34,040 smart contracts discovered recently on Ethereum specifically, with Quantstamp being the first available external help, an expected 100,000 coin burn with every audit, the mainnet launched by August, which overall, I expect Quantstamp to have a very, very good year this year. Okay, 10x to 15x gain is very possible, also considering that just returning to their all-time high would already be over 6x gains. At the all-time high, the market had a market cap of 850 billion. Right now, we're sitting at 320 billion. Experts in the field expect us to end the year between 1 to 1.5 trillion, so we definitely expect that by the end of the year, we should be higher than their all-time high in January, which is more than 6x gains. Going beyond this year though, in the longer term, I think how Quantstamp will perform will depend on two factors. The first is whether or not the auditing of smart contracts will be taken up as a culture, as a norm in the valuation of a blockchain project. I do think there's a real chance that this will happen because historically there's been so many problems with faulty smart contracts. And also, if I am an investor and I have the choice between two equally attractive ICOs, and one of them has been audited and the other one hasn't, it's fairly clear to me who I'm going to choose. And if that ever happens, if this culture ever builds where auditing becomes a norm in terms of selecting ICs or evaluating ICOs, then Quantstamp as a blockchain project is going to explode because every new coin will be coming to them for their stamp of approval. The second factor is whether or not Quantstamp can maintain its first mover advantage on the other projects. First mover advantage for any blockchain arena is an advantage, but in auditing is an essential. Imagine if another auditing protocol was launched today on the Neo platform and they worked as fast as Quantstamp, doing 353 audits in a quarter. Neo doesn't even have 800 projects on its platform, and basically in 6 months, all its current projects would have been audited by the competitor. And audits are expensive fees that the projects will only pay once. So if Quantstamp jumps onto the blockchain 6 months after a competitor has arrived, basically there will be no business left. Fortunately, there are no major threats yet, but there are some upcoming projects. But major threats could pop up very quickly. We saw Main recently show that they are able to scan and detect faults in smart contracts in bulk. Okay, they detect the faults even faster than Quantstamp can. So imagine if they started to provide the service of fixing these faults, which is very imaginable and very profitable for them. It will be a very serious competitor in a very short period of time. So I think that for this year, Quantstamp should still have the lion's share of the market and enjoy a certain degree of prosperity. I think that now is not a bad time to jump onto Quantstamp, assuming that the general market doesn't crash any further. Next year, though, is still an unknown depending on the above factors, but of course, we are rooting for Quantstamp because we like it. So that's it for me, guys. I hope that this video was helpful for you. If you like this video, please hit the like and subscribe to help us to build our channel and also to make sure that you don't miss out on any of our content. Let us know in the comments below what you think of Quantstamp or any other thoughts that you might have. Keep the requests coming in. This is a requested review from one of you, and we always love to hear what you want. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great Friday. I hope you're chilling and having fun wherever you are, and we will catch you guys tomorrow.